leader they will entrust the job to, and there must always be a backup. We find this when God, when the people, the children of Israel, went to ask from Samuel that they need a leader who is going to take them in and out and lead them out to war. And eventually Saul was given to them as a leader, was inaugurated. But when eventually Saul backfired, his responsibility, and Samuel was lamenting, and God said, "For how long will you lament over this man? I have another person who is going to take his place." He said, "I have found a man in the house of Jesse, a man after my heart." There's always a backup. Every wise leader must target to have a backup. As much as you have concentrated effort to raise a successor, please have a backup. If you don't have a backup, that successor is going to fail. The work of God especially is very, very demanding. So we're saying here that potential leader, that leader raises a leader who's succeeding, and alongside must have a successor. So these two leaders that have come out from you have developed two other leaders. One already made leader, another one a potential. That is a multiplication process. So that's exactly what we're saying. In the work of God, we don't need to limit ourselves to additional. We need to multiply. This exercise we're going through, this discipleship training we're going through, is a typical example of this principle we're talking about. Because here, from one point, by the grace of God, so many people, though you have been leaders, you've been raising, but as far as this concept is concerned, we're now raising. Two people came from the UK, from John Maxwell, targeted to raise 25 people in Africa. By the grace of God, I was one of them. And prior to this time, I've had the privilege of raising more other persons. Right now, we have a number of them, about a minimum of 15 people in our ministry that are going through this training. And I've challenged them that thereafter, they're also going to raise their own. The same thing applies to what we're doing here, this online. A lot of people are now connected to it. And God helping us, everyone is going to develop. So that's the multiplication process. So let's go further, developing others while delegating work. There are several distinctions between a leader of leaders and a leader of followers. So while a leader raises leaders or leaders, we also have a situation where a leader is just simply leading followers. So we have 9 items to be running through today. This is actually our main focus today. So number 1, desire. Number 1, desire. If you have your workbook, you can write it down, please. Desire. So we see here, leaders who develop followers need to be needed. So you can fill in there, need to be needed. Need to be needed. Leaders who develop followers need to be needed. While leaders who develop leaders want to be succeeded. Well, I'll throw some lights here. Today we have a situation where most of our ministers, pastors who run ministry take advantage of the gifting in their lives. And so they're providing services to their members. And so for them to remain relevant, they prefer to always be in the market, always be in demand. At any time the people lack something, or they call out for you, pastor, they come to you, and as long as they are coming to you, you are needed by them. So you are relevant. Your concern is not what you're going to make, what you're going to invest in their life. The success of your ministry, as far as this is concerned, is that you are always relevant. You desire that they will need you all the time. Somebody is feeling headache. You don't need to go to the hospital. You don't need someone else to pray. They will come to you to pray. They have some issues. You don't need someone. You just come. So you are just seated, and to you, you have a job you are doing. This is a very serious crisis we have today. Many ministers prefer to be relevant without the challenge of wanting to raise successor. But we say that leaders who develop leaders want to be succeeded. We saw that Moses was an example of this. Moses saw the willingness in the heart of Joshua. Joshua presented himself, and Moses began to target him. And Moses was ready to relinquish, the powers to him, because he has raised him, was bringing very close. Remember when he was going to meet the Lord at the mountain, he took Joshua close to him. One would have thought that Aaron would be the next person close to him, but it was Joshua. He left Aaron to take care of the congregation. And of course, you know the story of Jesus with Mary and Martha. Jesus told Martha, you are concerned about many things. One thing is very important, Mary has chosen it. So Moses brought Joshua very close to him because he has set his heart to raise him as a successor. So leaders who develop leaders want to be succeeded. Number 2, focus. Focus. Leaders who develop followers focus on the weakness of people. So let's write a weakness. W-E-A-K-N-E-S. Weakness. Leaders who develop followers focus on the weakness of people. Whereas leaders who develop leaders focus on the strength of people. They focus on their strength. So, as long as the followers continue to be weak, that leader in quotes is relevant. So, he capitalizes on the weakness of the people. He survives and exists within the framework of the weakness. But the leader of leaders identifies the strength and he will focus on that strength. Focus on that strength. I think I have 2 examples here. The leader who focuses on the weakness of people, maybe we can just look at Eli and his children. Eli's children were weak. Eli was weak because the children were stubborn and rebellious to the word of God. They were not prepared to live godly life. So Eli was weak. His children were weak. So you can find, though Eli was still occupying his office as the priest of God, he was there, he occupied the office, but he didn't have the local standing to raise the children, to challenge them. So the weaknesses of the children were so pronounced. But Elijah and Elisha would be a very good example of leaders who develop leaders, focuses on their strength. We saw this, that Elisha was a rugged man. When Elijah went to anoint him, and the young prophet, was taking permission for him, said, let me go and tell my people bye-bye and all of that. He said, what do I have to do with you? And we know that Elisha went back and he burnt every implement with which he was using to raise farming, kill the animals. The man closed down his business. So he meant to Elijah that he was a very serious, he has strength in him. So no wonder Elijah gave absolute attention to Elijah. He really raise him up. So we need to ask ourselves, are we taking advantage of the weakness of people around us and just capitalize and use that as a platform to remain relevant? Or do we find a little strength in them, and use that strength to develop them so they can work stronger and stronger? Number 3, priorities. Priorities. Leaders who develop followers devote effort to those with the most needs. So let's write the needs. Leaders who develop followers devote effort to those with the most needs. So what happens as you develop followers, there's a large crowd. What you now do is that you tend to devote your effort to the area of their needs. What exactly some people are sick. You need to hold a healing meeting. They are lukewarm, revival meeting, and you just create all of these programs because you find out that these are the area of their needs. So you're just devoting time on that. But look at the leader who develop leaders, devote effort to those with the most potential. With the most potential. Those who develop leaders devote effort to those with the most potential. And I like us to read from Joshua chapter 14. Joshua chapter 14, verse 6 to 12. Can I have someone read for us? Joshua chapter 14, verse 6 to 12. Anyone there, please? Joshua 14, verse 6 to 12. Can I have someone read? Sister Patience or Itoha?
Joshua 14, verse 6 to 12, I read in Jesus' name. Then the children of Judah came unto Joshua in Gilgal, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, and the Kenizzite, said unto him, Thou knowest the thing that the Lord said unto Moses, the man of God, concerning me, and there in Kadesh Barnea. 40 years old was I when Moses, the servant of God, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to espy out the land. And I brought him word again, as it was in mine heart. Nevertheless, my brethren, that went up with me made the heart of the people melt. But I wholly followed the Lord my God. And Moses sware on that day, saying, Surely the land whereon thy feet have trodden shall be thine inheritance, and thy children's forever, because thou hast wholly followed the Lord my God. And now, behold, the Lord hath kept me alive, as he said, these 45 years, even since the Lord spake this word unto Moses, while the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness. And now, lo, I am this day 85 years old. As yet I am as strong this day as I was in the day that Moses sent me. As my strength was then, even so is my strength now, for war both to go out and to come in. Now, therefore, give me this mountain whereof the Lord spake in that day, for thou heardest in that day how Anakims were there, and that the cities were great fenced. If so be the Lord will be with me, then I shall be able to drive them out, as the Lord said. May God
Thank
bless the
you.
reading.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. This is quite, each time I read this passage of Bible, something triggers inside of me and say, wow, we need men like this. So we're using this example to establish the reality that leaders who develop leaders devote effort to those with the most potential. We can see that Caleb came out clearly to say to Joshua, look at the account of what happened while Moses, was leading us. He said to him, this is my potential. One is that I follow the Lord all through with all my heart. And while the people brought evil report and melted their heart, I was there to, to bring the word from the Lord to say we are more than able to tell the lie. Then he said, look, I was 45 years old then. Now I am 85. As yet, I'm still 45. All the strength is there. And he said, give me this mountain. So that was the potential right in there. He had all, he said he announced to Joshua of all it takes. And remember that Moses once said that this place where my feet step upon will be I will possess. He said, give it to me. Though the giant, they give it to me. So you can see that there's need for us to identify those who have very most potential within our circle. Let's give adequate attention, devote enough time, develop them. They can be very great assets to continue what the Lord, is leaving in our hands. Praise the Lord. Now, number four, abilities. Leaders who develop followers are good leaders. Those who develop followers are good leaders. Leaders who develop leaders are great leaders. They are great leaders. Now let's look at some example. So establish the 1 Samuel chapter 8, 1 to 5. 1 Samuel chapter 8, 1 to 5. I need someone also to read 1 Samuel chapter 8, 1 to 5. Sister Prosper is there. Soledad is there. Please, can I just try to mention names? Sister Toha, you're there. Okay, let's everyone. Sister Teresa.
Amen.
Amen.
I read in Jesus, the 1 Samuel 5, chapter
No,
1.
8.
Chapter 8,
1 to 5. 1 to 5.
Okay. It says, and it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his son judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second Abiah. They were judges in Bathsheba. Of his second Abiah, I repeat verse 2. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second Abiah. They were judges in Bathsheba. 3. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after luxury, and took bribes, and perverted judgment. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations.
Oh, praise God. Amen. So we're looking at how good Samuel was in his leadership. Samuel judged the people. He had a lot of followers as the man of God that God raised, prophet of God, in their own time. But the report we find here was that Samuel could not reproduce himself. He was a good leader, but he could not reproduce himself. So that just made him good. He actually led very well. He had no errors with him. The people, he brought himself before the people and said, look, if I've stolen, if I've cheated, whatever it is, point it out. They say, no, you haven't done anything wrong. You are clean, but the underlying problem was that your children are wayward. So he was a good leader. But now let's look at the leader who develops leader, how great they are. 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 9. 2 Kings chapter 2, verse 9.
Second Kings chapter 2, verse 9. I read in Jesus' name. He said, and it came to pass when they were gone over, that Elijah said unto Elisha, ask what I shall do for thee before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me.
Hallelujah. Now, we saw that Elisha didn't just ask for the anointing in Elijah, his master. He said, I need double of it. And we're witnesses from the scriptures that eventually Elisha received the double portion, because we saw that the kind of miracle that he began to wrought proved the reality that Elijah was a great leader, because he gave birth, he replicated himself double. So Elijah could be seen as one who is a great leader. In our own time, I wonder if we can find men like Elijah now who raise a man who is going to be greater than he, because selfishness seems to be eating us up. So Elijah was a great leader. What do you call him? Elisha got a double portion of the anointing. He said, if you see me being taken up and you get the mantle, then what you've asked, you have it. And he got it. Number 5, attitude. Attitude. Leaders who develop followers lift up themselves. Leaders who develop followers lift up themselves. Leaders who develop leaders lift up others. They lift up others. We know that Pharaoh in the land of Egypt made himself a god. There could not be anyone to challenge his authority. He so exalted himself that he challenged the God of heaven and earth. And he said to Moses, who is that God that I should let you go? So we have this kind of leaders. As far as he was concerned, everyone was subject to him, including Moses. And he tended to bring God subject to himself. Because the question, who is that God? He saw himself as the only God on earth. And no one can rival him. So if we look around from some of the ministers we have today running ministry, by attitude, if we're looking at attitude, by attitude, they seem to become a god over their own people, over their congregation. No one can lift up his finger unless by his orders. No one dare challenge them and say, look, this is my ministry. If you don't like, you go away. They're always there to issue orders and authority. So those are the kind of leaders, they lift up themselves. But I'd like us to read John 14, verse 12. John 14, verse 12. Pastor Teresa, please can you read for us? John 14, verse 12.
John 14, I read verse 12.
John 14, 12.
Yes, sir. From verse 12, I read. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. 13. And whatsoever ye shall ask in my name, that will I do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. Verse
Okay,
14.
thank you.
If ye shall ask...
No, that's okay.
God bless.
No, that's okay. Thank you. Now, we're looking at leaders who develop leaders. We said they lift up others. Here very clearly, Jesus, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the beginning and the end of all things, the one who was and is to come, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. He is all and all, heaven and earth. He said the whole earth is like a drop of water on my palm. But here, mere men, he said to the disciples, he said, greater work shall you do. Actually, he said to them, I am lifting you above my performance arena. All that you have seen me do, because you believe in me,